I'm very happy to be here. I think this morning we had a lot of discussion about the shift of design, finding a new center, which I think is Asia. That's why we're here. And Singapore is playing a big role in leading that transformation. I want to start with a small story that was meaningful to me as I was getting pursued by Johnson & Johnson for this role. It's Los Angeles, which is, I moved from Los Angeles to New Brunswick, New Jersey, or we work in New Brunswick, but live in New Jersey. And my wife and 2 kids are there. We're preparing breakfast and everything like normal. Package arrives, overnight delivery, open up this box, and there's a gift basket in it. There's like 60-something Johnson & Johnson consumer products in this basket. And they're trying to kind of introduce me to J&J. They want me to join the company. I go through a few things like, wow, quite a portfolio. Some of the brands need a lot of help. I set it aside. I'm going into the kitchen to start preparing breakfast. My son and daughter are running around the house. My daughter falls down. She's 3 years old, and she scrapes her knee. And I'm like, oh gosh, and she starts screaming. It was very painful. And I realized she's only 3 years old, and this is her first pain experience of any magnitude, and she's bleeding. So like, okay, oh gosh. I pick her up, I set her on a chair. My wife walks over, and this is no lie, there's a box of Band-Aids in that gift basket. How many of you know the film Cars, the Pixar film with the red Lightning McQueen, the race car? Lightning McQueen is on the front of this box. I show it to her. She starts to smile. Okay. I open the box. I can be a hero right now. So I pour the Band-Aids on the kitchen counter, and I start to do an out-of-box experience evaluation. I'm trying to find Lightning McQueen, and I'm not having any luck. I'm going through Band-Aids, and I'm picking them up, and I'm like, gosh, and she's looking at me, and she's crying. And I take the Band-Aids, I go to the window, and I'm now using the sun like an X-ray, trying to find Lightning McQueen. After 3 or 4 Band-Aids, I found Lightning McQueen. I put it on her knee. She calmed down. She smiled. And it was interesting for me, like, how could they not think about that? How could a parent not quickly identify the cartoon? We're doing this co-branding effort with Pixar, and that's not even part of the experience that was evaluated. So a few nights later, I'm having a call with my future boss, and I tell her this story. And she laughs on the phone, not because of my daughter's injury, but she said, Ernesto, that's why Johnson & Johnson needs design. There's so many little details like that that our organization, because it's science-based, does not consider. We have small things, small details to address, and very large problems to solve, organizational challenges. I took the job. I'm happy I took the job. That was 3 years ago. I'm here now. So today I'm going to share a little bit about Johnson & Johnson. I'm going to walk you through who Johnson & Johnson is. I think many of you think it's only Band-Aids and baby shampoo, right? Yep, see some heads nodding. Okay. We are so much more, you will not believe it. And then I'm going to walk you through the healthcare landscape and some of the things that we're focused on, some of the challenges happening globally. And then a little bit about the Johnson & Johnson design team. Since J&J Design is a group I took on less than 3 years ago, many of the products and solutions have not made to the marketplace because of the regulated environment. It takes a very long development cycle. So I'm going to focus a little bit more on some of the organizational impact that we're trying to have with our employees. Johnson & Johnson was founded 1886 by 2 brothers. Very, very rich history. Our company is very traditional, and it's very science-based from its inception. Just some quick stats. 127,000 employees across the globe. 250 facilities plus across the globe. And it's even hard for us to kind of keep track because we're constantly acquiring companies, divesting of companies. We sell products in over 175 countries. We are pretty much in every single hospital. And last year we reported $71 billion in revenue. So like I said, we're a very science-based company. That means in our consumer sector, everything is approached through the lens of science, not necessarily the empathetic perspective, like that Band-Aid story, of how do we provide care and delight in our consumer categories. In pharmaceuticals, we start with a molecule very often, right? And so by the time that molecule is developed 7 years later, we haven't always figured out the best method to deliver that medicine to a patient. So we're rethinking that. And in medical devices, we make hip implants, knee implants, spine, and the surgical tools, the endoscopic tools. So we have a very, very diverse portfolio. We are the world's largest healthcare company on earth. And what's kind of ironic is with three sectors, they don't always connect or communicate, right? And we're working on that. We have a history of innovation. Here's 9 innovations that most of you have come into contact with. There's many, many more. Just chose these 9. Sterile sutures. We are part of the operating room globally. We almost help define the sterile surgical experience. First aid kits. The first aid kit that went to the moon was Johnson & Johnson. And I love space stuff, so I always have to get that in there. We invented duct tape in World War II. We don't make duct tape anymore. Band-Aid, sanitary napkins, dental floss, tamper-resistant packaging. This is important. Even food products today have tamper-resistant packaging. We had an incident in 1982 where someone took Tylenol product off the shelf, replaced our pain reliever capsules with cyanide-laced poison, put it back on the shelf. 9 people died. The press was, kind of doing a lot of reporting. As a company, we're very concerned because these incidences, it depends on how you manage the crisis. Our leadership took the right stance. They removed all the product off the shelf. They were the first one in history to do a total recall and pull every product off the shelf. No one had ever done that before. But it was such a severe situation, it was the right call to make. And within 60 days, they were back on shelf with tamper-resistant packaging to make sure we didn't lose. This was one of our biggest products at the time. What I found out later is that the Credo, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute, helped guide a lot of that thinking. Also, disposable contact lenses. Okay, our Credo. So this was written over 70 years ago, this document on that panel, 4 paragraphs. It's very people-centered. It talks a lot about the community, science, business, experimenting with new ideas, making it a win-win. And I realized that design thinking is woven through this whole document, but what's amazing is that it was written 70 years ago. This guides the behaviors and the thinking, and when we have a crisis, how we would handle that crisis. Everyone in J&J, if you're in pharmaceuticals, medical device, or consumer, all can connect with this. 2017, today. The world's changed a lot over 130 years. Healthcare is not equal across the globe. We have varying degrees of quality of healthcare. And with an aging population, conflict, pollution, many challenges, it's hard for us as the globe to give equal healthcare. This is a big challenge of ours, and we're investing quite a bit. Lung cancer. 50% of people that use tobacco product will die of lung cancer. Obesity. This is a recent World Health Organization that was published here in Asia. This is a global problem. It's leading to diabetes. It's something that needs to be addressed. Eye health. Myopia, or also called nearsightedness, is a huge issue. 80% of children in Asia Pacific have myopia of varying degrees, and it can lead to blindness. Consumerism is changing healthcare. I think you saw a lot of examples today about ecosystems and new technologies, but the main point here is, why shouldn't healthcare be as easy as a consumer product? You should be able to get your health data as easy as a stock quote. Diverse technologies. We are experimenting with new ideas. We are looking at virtual reality for mental health therapy, 3D printing of hip implants that are designed for your body, not just a mass-produced hip implant. Partnerships. We're working very closely with a lot of the top companies we talk about, Facebook, Google, Microsoft. In this particular program, we're partnering with Google to simplify robotic surgery. Right now, it's a very large, expensive investment. Hospitals have to have a special room built for it, and usually it's part of the design of the building at the front end. There's got to be a better way. Connected experiences. It really is a world about connected experiences. And Mauro and Barry and others have been talking about this today. And we look at it in terms of care. So let's say you take a category like baby. There's a lot of different assets, different brands that could connect to baby from our portfolio. Or even a consumer product like Clean and Clear, which is very big for young teenage girls. Shifting perspective. So much of healthcare has been focused on how to fix people, fix them when they're sick. Why can't we flip that and put a lot more investment into keeping people from getting sick? If you look at all the financials, it makes so much more sense. The insurance costs would drop because as you go through your illness, the cost only rises. So you want to bring it back in early. So how do we prepare for this change in a world that really needs to have impact? Design can do this. I think that's why I became a designer. I want to have impact, and this is why I joined Johnson & Johnson. And the team of designers that we have are very passionate about this. They love consumer brands and exciting things, but we're very focused on helping people, improving lives, extending lives. Care center design. This is how our team is structured. We're very focused on experiences. We have insights and experience strategy people from IDEO and a lot of design thinking organizations. We have designers from many capabilities, from digital to environmental to brand design. And we look for designers that are T-shaped. They're very strong in a specific area, but they're very generalist. And when they work together, a lot more idea generation happens. Operations is key. We have to continually improve how we design solutions. We look at design through three lenses: consumer, healthcare, and here we combine pharmaceuticals with medical devices. because they shouldn't be done in silos. It's a continuum of care, and they are interrelated. When you have a hip surgery, there's medication. There's preparation you can do with therapies. There's all kinds of things that need to be designed as a holistic solution. And then J&J. We work to express the brand externally, but we're more focused on the internal workings of J&J, the organization, and the employee population. This is one of our consumer centers. We're working with architects to make it a more dynamic work environment where people can kind of test products and live them versus being a more siloed cubicle type of workplace. Healthcare, again, we're looking at things holistically. It's more people, patient-centered. It's less about the scientists driving all the decisions. There's a lot more work of informing them of how they need to look at it. J&J, our population. So how does J&J help? How does design help J&J? So if you think about the airplane, when you take off and they have those safety instructions and they tell you to, if you're a parent, you put the mask on first and then you put the mask on for your child second. Well, even us as Johnson & Johnson need to think about applying design thinking for us. Many corporations don't do that. We design. Even design agencies don't always apply design thinking to themselves. This is what we've been asked to do. So we're looking at the employee experience before you even consider Johnson & Johnson a employment destination. How can we recruit them? How can we get them to come in smoothly, attract the right talent, the millennials? There's lots of millennials out here. How do we get them on board? How do we make their first 30, 60, 90 days extremely streamlined and delightful? Because if they get engaged and effective immediately, then they feel confident they took the right job and they're set up for success. We call that onboarding. There's also re-onboarding when people move from one region to another region. Let's say they leave New Jersey, where the global headquarters is, and they relocate to Singapore. They have to adapt to the organization here. That's very important. We take this all the way through to retirement. And all this information helps feed many work streams on how we're improving the employee experience, even informing our physical environment design. When you journey map, you identify all kinds of things that can help you understand what's the right way to have people collaborate. And we all know as designers that the more you collaborate, the easier it is to innovate. And many buildings are not structured that way. Having a diversity of spaces to work in, not always the same type of work environment, is helpful to that kind of free thinking and collaboration. Digital tools. Because J&J is a very large, complex company, we have acquired many companies along the way. And so you end up with a smorgasbord, messy set of employee portals. So we are going through a big effort right now to consolidate it, to get it down to a mobile solution that every J&J employee on the globe will use. And then when they relocate from New Brunswick to Singapore, they're up and running the first day on the job. That's how you help people and give them the confidence that they're working for one of the best companies on earth. Human Performance Institute. Is this working? Yep. HPI. In 2008, a senior executive toured this site and was impressed with their behavioral science approach to improving people's health. It's based on 3 components: nutrition, performance psychology, and exercise. And they've developed a whole curriculum to help people over 2 days. And we acquired the company 2008 and put our executives through it. Managers, we try to put as many people through the system as possible. It's an amazing program. I went through it about 6 months ago, and it's improved my life. It just gives me a very different way to think about my health. And then programs like the 7-Minute Workout app is another vehicle. So again, this is a brand, HPI, that is starting to have multi-dimensions in a connected ecosystem way. This has over 2 million downloads now. It's very, very easy to use, and it gives you microbursts of energy. You do this exercise once a day, and it keeps you fit when you're traveling. So this is just our New York office. We have a few satellite studios of different sizes. We are exploring Asia right now. We hope to set up a studio here. But again, we have a variety of people, diverse people that are so passionate about making an impact. And the hope is that even the tiniest moments of life, all the way through the end of our life, could be improved or extended or just made more delightful. And we touch over 1 billion lives a day with all of our products, services, and solutions. So we do make a lot of impact. And we have a goal to touch over 3 billion lives in the next decade. So obviously that's me. That's my son Lucas on the far left, my daughter Eva, who scraped her knee, and my wife is Shang. And they're a big part of why I go to J&J and am so passionate about work. I want to improve their lives for my kids when they get older, but also for all of your lives. As designers, we can make impact. I make an impact at J&J. Thank you.